Hello scholars, welcome to another lesson from Ms. Kingsbury. Today we are working on lesson 21, which starts on page 11 in our iReady book. As I told you guys in that question, I am doing an origami project of the day. So this is my little fish that I made because this is one of the things I'm trying to learn with this time. So today we are looking at lesson 2 in iReady. It is providing an objective summary of the text, which is a really important skill because this is telling someone about something else. The difference here, though, is that we are looking at the word objective. So the really big idea here is that this is not an opinion. And we talked a little bit about this with Omnivore's Dilemma. Not an opinion. So you guys are used to seeing summaries in the form of game reviews or movie reviews, but those are an opinion telling you to go or buy that thing. This is the opposite. It is just the facts, and that is the important part here. So here it's saying to read the passage below. As you do, think about what you would include in a summary of it. The influence of the Roman Empire was the single most important force in early Europe. We're going to annotate that topic sentence because that is usually a big clue as to what the central idea is. Without the unifying effect of the empire, regional or tribal differences would have prevailed, and Europe would have remained a land of separate states. We have a little contrast there, each avoiding contact with the others. Instead, Rome and its culture pulled the different areas together. Spain, for example, it's a place we're going to box that, was a stable and secure part of the Roman Empire, and Roman culture had a strong influence there. Aqueducts, such as this one in Segovia, Spain, are examples of the empire's expansive reach. A less visible sign of Roman influence is Spain's language, which is firmly rooted in Latin, the language of the Romans. And then here, less visible sign, and they're rooted in Latin, the language of the Romans. Read the passage again, this time underlining the central idea and supporting details. Then read the chart below to see how to summarize an informational text. So our central idea we already underlined because, when we see a topic sentence, obviously we get an idea of what this is going to be about. But the important thing here is also that we have these other details. So Spain was a stable and secure part of the Roman Empire. There's this thing about aqueducts, which is an example if we're thinking about the role of a sentence, right? And then down here, this is another example. And then looking down here, this is exactly what the text agrees with, or what the chart agrees with us. The central idea is that the Roman Empire had a far-reaching and lasting influence on Europe. Aqueducts are architectural evidence of the Roman Empire's presence in Spain, and the Spanish language's Latin roots are another piece of evidence of Rome's influence. Our summary here, the Roman Empire left signs of its presence in Europe. The aqueduct in Segovia, Spain, and the roots of the Spanish language are two signs of Rome's lasting impact on Spain. And just so we're clear, in case you don't know what an aqueduct is, if you look here, its arches, there's actually a water pipe that goes here and a water pipe that goes here. So it's basically how cities can get their water. And New York City actually does have an aqueduct that goes all the way up to a reservoir where I go skiing. So these were invented by the Romans, but they are still in use today. So over here, we're looking at understanding English word origins. This is the field of etymology, which is actually a really cool field. There's this great website called ETYM online. And I'll leave a link below in the description. But that is a really cool website when you're bored someday, just to see where some of your favorite words come from and look at their origins and see how they came to be, because all words were invented at some point. So that's a really cool website to check out. Anyways, this is an essay. So obviously you're going to think of Ms. Otomo, Ms. Kingsbury, Ms. De Jesus. Again, there's 15 English teachers. I'm not listing all of them, but you get the picture. We are understanding English word origins by Pilar Rivera. Some names of objects originate from the object's appearance. You know what a cloak is, and if you don't know, it tells you. It's a sleeveless garment worn draped over the shoulders, kind of like a cape. Now close your eyes and picture the shape of a cloak. Cloak comes from an old French word, cloak, which means bell. So the name of the object was a transference from the shape of the object. And I'm just going to put my little bell here to give me an idea. Some word origins or etymologies, there's our definition, so we draw our arrow, are fascinating because they tell us what an object used to be. Think about what a ballot is, the list of candidates that we use when we vote to choose elected officials. Ballots are mostly electronic now, but for several centuries they were paper documents. How did people vote before paper was readily available? They dropped pebbles or small balls into one of two boxes or piles to choose leaders or to make community decisions. Ballot comes from the Italian word pallet, which itself is a diminutive form of palla, meaning ball. Diminutive means cutesy, so it's the difference between like mom and mommy, or dad and daddy, or kittens or puppies. So diminutive means like the cute version of a word. So it's palette, meaning ball. And this happens in Spanish too. It's where you get the itas from. Explore how to answer this question. What information should be included in a summary of this portion of the essay? So if we're thinking about summaries, you should definitely always gist, because a good summary will basically combine all of your gists together. So here, our gist is something about a cloak. And then the idea is that the word cloak comes from looking like a bell. And then down here, this is a ballot or a vote. I'm going to put a parentheses, vote, used to be a pebble. So those would be our gist. That's for that paragraph and that's for that paragraph. Remember, you can say your gist by starting with, so basically, cloak comes from looking like a bell. So basically, a ballot used to be a pebble. And then down here, if we're thinking about this chart, the central idea would be that words have different origins. And again, origins are beginnings or the history. And our first supporting detail would come from our first paragraph, that the cloak looks like a bell, but we're going to make it a little bit more broad instead of this example. So we're going to say some words come from an object's appearance. And for the second one down here, we're going to say that some words come from an object's original form. So again, just to summarize, our essential idea is that words have different origins, and our supporting detail is some words come from an object's appearance. Our second one from the second paragraph is some words come from an object's original form. And they gave us a summary here, but this summary is trash. There is something very wrong with this summary. So I'm going to read it to you, and I want you to think about what is wrong here, because they messed up. What did they mess up? The history of words is fascinating. The origins of some words like cloak are based on their shape, while others relate to what an object once was. Ballot, which means ball, is a great example of this. I'm not going to Blue's Clues and sit here and wait, but I do suggest pausing the video to see what is wrong with that summary. Think back over here, what we said. There's something that makes it trash. So the problem is they inserted their opinion. Right? They use the words great and fascinating, but we do not want to do that in an objective summary. So that is why over here, this central idea is much better than their topic sentence. The history of, or excuse me, words have different origins. The origins of some words, like cloak, are based on their shape, while others relate to what an object once was. Ballot, which means ball, is an example of this. No opinion words. Moving on. Continue reading the essay about etymology. Question first. Which of the following is the best summary of the text on this page? So I know again that I definitely have to write that gist. Next, consider the varied origins of some English words related to money. The word money itself comes from moneta, another name for the Roman goddess Juno, near whose temple in ancient Rome coins were made. The name of our paper money, dollar, originates from a place name. A widely circulated German coin in the 1500s was called a Joachimsthaler. It was named after the town of Joachimsthal, near the silver mine from which came the metal to make the coin. The coin's name shortened to thaler, which later became dollar, and the meaning broadened to refer to money in general. Putting my arrow in this direction because that's how it started and that's how it ended up. So which of the following is the best summary of the text on this page? We have to write a gist. So our gist here is going to be kind of similar to these. We're just looking at more origins. So over here, the money came, the word money, so we put it in quotes, came from Rome. And over here, the word dollar came from German or Thaler. And just like before, I'm gonna let you answer this question on your own. If you are feeling good, you are welcome to continue the next couple pages on your own. These are all due on Wednesday. This is our big heavy lifting day of the week. So do not wait until tomorrow to do the rest of this. If you would like to continue listening, please click on the next video, and that way I will read to you this text and explain some helpful hints for this essay. Otherwise, stay safe, stay home, make good choices. Bye!